Mr. Flores is not ready, sir. Yes, sir, we are on.
Call this meeting to order. It's 9 o'clock. We'll determine the quorum is present. Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself. So we have a quorum. Pledge of Allegiance. Anna Smith, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'm not a commissioner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4, approval of the previous meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Flores. Any questions? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. 5-0 vote. Citizens' comments. We have 2 of them. Mr. Scott? Yes, sir. Would you like to come up and speak?
Yes.
If you can come up here, that way
Yes.
we can hear you a little bit better. Thank you, sir.
How you doing, sirs?
Good. Doing good. And you?
Well, I could be better, but I could be a whole lot worse. Basically, I'm here for 2 reasons. One of them is I moved here from Indiana 8 years ago. And before then, I was living, like in Indiana, I was living in the tri-state area where you had Cincinnati, Ohio, and Florence, Kentucky in the same area, what they call the tri-state. And all 3 states, way back when, had the 3-year rabies shot. And I was shocked to see here only had the 1-year rabies shot. It's the exact same amount of medicine, the exact same amount. They found out that the 3-year, the dose for the 1 year actually works for 3 years. And so I've been trying to get it passed here. I've looked it up, and Texas authorized it, I don't know, several years ago. And the county here has just been sort of slacking off on getting it approved. Because in Indiana, there's a whole lot more animals than there are here, so I would think that it would be just as safe here as it would be in Indiana or Kentucky for the rabies. I know that when they did it up there, it cost a little bit more for the 3-year shot because the county or the state got a percentage for the license. So it raised like about $3, I think, for the 3-year compared to the 1 year. And I would just like to get it situated so it's 3 years like the state of Texas is also authorized.
If you'll just hold on 1 minute right there. We can't answer your questions, or we can take care of this one right now. If you'll just give us 1 minute. We'll go to item 11, discussion of possible action regarding Valverde County ordinance to be in compliance with the state of Texas by changing requirements from 1 year to 3 year for the rabies vaccination.
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Wardlaw. Second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Did you have something else?
And the other thing is, Coca-Cola Road is very, very bad. I mean, it's pothole. The cold patch just don't last. And if it wasn't, I hate to sound big-headed, but I know that if it wasn't for me talking to my commissioner of how to fix the problem of the water crossing the road, because I'm used to Indiana where it rains a lot, so I know if you got a ditch that is not very clear, that water runs across the road, so that makes the road fall apart. So after I talked to him, he got the county people out there and they cleaned out the ditch, and then we quit having water run across the road most of the time. But it needs to be hot patched or actually repaved, because after the first section that they repaved a long time ago up towards 90, it's falling apart, but not near as bad as from that point on. It's really, if you're driving a pickup truck and, you go down the hill and then you hit that gravel, and if you're not careful, you're doing donuts down there, because of all the loose gravel. So it would be nice if we could at least get a fat patch. Those. I'm not a very good speaker, so hopefully.
No, and you're looking at us like you want us to say something. We can't return comments.
Yeah, I know.
Citizen comments.
But I just would like to see the road either hot patched or completely repaved, because it's very, I mean, at one spot it was where you could blow a tire going through it. It was so bad. The hole was so bad at one time.
No, duly noted, sir.
So thank you.
No, thank you.
You guys have a
Thank you
very
for coming.
blessed rest of your day.
Thank you.
Judge Owens, can we go back
Thank you
to
for
item
coming.
number 11?
You can, if you want to.
Thank you. I do want to. I just wanted to make sure that the order referenced the prior order, which is 94-336, because we're amending that order.
Actually, that order got repealed, and we're gonna have to rewrite the entire order.
Yeah, but right now, did we repeal it in the Commissioners Court minutes?
Yeah, we did that, and then.
We repealed the entire order, and now we're gonna have to rewrite and bring the order back.
We repealed the order without replacing it?
Yes.
Well,
The wording, the way it worded is they were gonna repeal that order and then place Roger Sherney as the rabies, individual for the county. I'm not sure why we repealed the order. It should have been just change the name of the person that was gonna be in charge.
what we did is we moved the sheriff in charge of the rabies versus Roger.
Yes, but you repealed this order.
Yes. So that order no longer exists, so we're gonna have to rewrite the order
So
or
even if you
resubmit
put
it.
the sheriff in charge of it, there's nothing for him to do if you repealed the order.
Yes,
We'll have to bring it back.
and the intention was to rewrite and bring back the actual order to redo it. I don't think we meant to repeal the order, I think we just meant to change.
And do you remember what year we did that?
I had it in the office, but I can't remember.
Roger.
Laura was here, that she was the judge, so it was in that time frame. Elizabeth actually has the order, remember? She can get you a copy.
Okay.
Roger. What year was that, Roger?
What occurred was, at that time, I was health inspector, and it came to my attention that the county did not have a rabies control authority as required by the sexual law that you quoted. And the reason for that was, in the animal control order that was existing at that time, the animal control officer was also the rabies control officer for the county. And so, since we didn't have an animal control officer, we didn't have a rabies authority. And I brought that to the attention of the court. It was a motion, I remember distinctly, by Judge Allen, seconded by Commissioner Ramon, and I think it was 4-1 vote. I think Judge Owens voted against it. But that was, I didn't bring it to the court in order to do that. I brought it to the court to point out the fact that we didn't have a rabies control officer at that time because we didn't have an animal control officer. And they were one and the same.
But
The wording in the minutes was to rescind that order, and they went on to say to appoint Roger Sherney as the rabies, but the actual order got rescinded as part of it.
Well, actually, back in the 80s, they did establish who the animal control officer was, but that's neither here nor there if we rescinded.
But on item 11, basically all we're trying to do is comply with what the state put up, not anything else.
And I've got Elizabeth working on rewriting the order, we'll bring it back to the court.
Yeah, and we can take care of that, but item 11 would still stand, because all we're trying to do is just get in compliance or the same as what the state does, which is 3 years versus what we were requiring 1 year. Even though that statute, when you read it, does say that the county can be more stringent, or they can adopt the 3 years. What we just did is adopt the 3 year.
Yeah, what threw me was that it said regarding the ordinance to be in compliance by changing requirements. So there's.
And that's what we did. All we did was we went from 1 year that we have now, which we can, by statute we can, we went to 3 years.
But we don't have that, so we didn't change anything because there's nothing there to change.
Yeah, we went to 3 years.
You repealed the order.
But this has nothing to do with the order. This has to do with what the state is telling you that you can do.
Judge, in lieu of not having and it's states it in the statute, country, in lieu of not having an animal control order, such as we had then what takes over is the state, and the state's a 3 year.
And that's the way I read it. So, thank you.
But anyway, that's another thing altogether.
We're gonna bring an actual order back.
Ms. Carpenter?
Good morning.
Good
How's
morning.
everybody doing?
Good.
I'm here today representing much of the community. I promised them I'd come and speak on their behalf, many out in the county for the most part. So I'm Jess Carpenter. I'm the Executive Director of ARC, the Animal Advocacy Rescue Coalition in Del Rio. We are a 501c3 nonprofit and have been taking on the massive task of rescuing animals within Del Rio City and Val Verde County. Since June 2018, ARC has brought in over 100 county strays or dumped animals. I field most of the calls myself. I get multiple messages, Facebook messages, emails all day. And I just thought, I think today, now that we're discussing really bringing about maybe a facility, a structure for animal control, that now would be a good time to bring forth what the community feels about what they've been waiting for so long. So I kind of compiled a few things, and I'll go through it quickly so that y'all can get to what we need to get to. So basically what ARC does, a little bit about us, is we find foster placement for these county animals. Granted, if they're friendly. We are able to bring them into our program. We get them fully vetted over at the vet clinic in Del Rio, and we get them ready for adoption, or we can transfer out to one of our partners, which is in Austin, and we also adopt out into Canada and other places throughout the nation, basically. So what we're trying to do is kind of alleviate the numbers a little bit and to help the community complaints that we're getting for the strays. So here's a little bit of what the community wanted me to share. These are quotes. One gentleman said, "I have a ranch in Quail Run. My animals have been attacked numerous times. Just a few months ago, a major accident happened because someone swerved to prevent hitting 2 dogs that were just roaming loose in the streets." The next one, "I have had multiple dogs dumped in my area of Rancho Del Rio. The problem with these dumps is that multiple dogs create packs and they begin to kill livestock. End result is that people have to shoot the dogs because that is the option. Some being owned by neighbors. So neighbor dogs are getting out, they're going into other people's residences, and they're being shot. There is no one to call, and people that's their livelihood, and they're trying to keep their livestock in check. Because one gentleman said that out of 15 sheep, he was left with only 5 after a pack attacked his property. The Sanigas Chaparral area, 4 were dead, 4 dead canines, 1 feline, 2 pregnant female canines wandering, and this was just yesterday morning. Due to lack of responsible ownership, we are out hundreds of dollars and have decided to terminate our sheep production. This was a huge financial hit for my family. So that was a few from a livestock owner standpoint, and also for people just getting ready to go to work in the morning. They're dodging multiple animals just everywhere. Children being chased on bikes. It's an issue. So this is what I personally dealt with yesterday, just one instance of many. I got a message through our Facebook on ARC, and it said, "I know there isn't county animal control, but there is a dog that looks like she was hit by a car. She is on Arbor Hills in Los Campos. Can anyone help?" This canine was picked up by us, an ARC advocate who had been driving basically behind their shop, and said, "I'll stop and see if I can help." They were able to pick her up. They were able to take her to Val Verde Veterinary Hospital, where we, ARC, paid for x-rays and her care to keep her comfortable. She had to be humanely euthanized shortly after arriving due to her injuries. Her spine had been severed, and she was found in a ditch out in a county area where nobody would have known. To some, that might just be another dog. To some, that might just be, another stray out in the county. But that could have been someone's pet that was maybe taken or that had gotten lost. So we really, everyone that we come across, we try to help. So I know that you can't answer questions here, but what would have happened if we didn't pick her up?
Well, if you want to give us just a minute.
Absolutely.
Sheriff, you want to come up, present us with something, and then we'll act on item 16?
Because I have several questions that I want to...
We'll go right now then.
But we need to take up another item, and then we can do
Do
this.
you want me to sit so he can speak?
You can stand if you want to take it. Sheriff, I think you needed to present us something on item 32. We had some concerns, and then we'll move on to item 16 right after that, and we can go back and forth with it. Want to read the item, Judge? Not really. Discussion and possible action regarding status of the county animal control department. And this will tie in, Ms. Carpenter, to item 16.
It gives us the ability, I'd like to ask some questions.
Yeah, we're not. Just tell us how bad it is, and then we'll go.
So, we've had, incidents in the county where I've given you 2 packets of 2 individuals that were injured by dog bites. But we've had, since January 1st of 2016 through 3/1/2019, 76 different animal bites. But I handed you there the 2 most severe. Both those animals were euthanized with the help of the city. And I think that, I'd like to get some answers just to see what the status is of the animal control, because I don't want to have to work a fatality of one of our young kids who is attacked by a dog. The latest one, 2 weeks ago, that dog was dragging that child back into its yard where it broke loose from. So, and that's where we're at with this. But there's a lot of...
My concern is we set aside funds in your department to hire an individual. I don't believe it's enough money. I don't believe it's enough to do what we have to do. My question to y'all, I've never agreed that the government always manages things better than the private world. Would your organization, considering if we built a facility, contracting with us to manage, oversee it, and deal with this issue?
That is a possibility in conjunction with.
I think the private sector has a better chance of dealing with this the way, because y'all have a background in this, we don't. I think if we get into it ourselves, I'm not saying we're not going to get into some sort of animal control, but I am more comfortable through a contract if we build you a facility and y'all can contract with us to manage and operate that facility and pick up these dogs and do what you're doing. You have a network of ability to be able to adopt them apparently all over the United States and halfway around the world, which would not be a network we would have available to us. I think it's a better fit for our problem than us trying to get into it ourselves and figure it out as we go. I don't know if that's something you are interested in or would be interested in having a conversation about.
We'd be interested in having a conversation about it, as far as details, hiring officers, animal control
Is that
officers.
a
We
conversation you
can't
could
go
have
out
with
to a
them?
home.
Is that a conversation you just sit down and have with?
I mean, we can have it with him. I mean, my thing would be, Commissioner, it needs to be specific on what it is. And I'm not trying to ruffle your feathers, but just to be frank, it needs to be an animal control, okay? And not a rescue service, because we're not going to have the money to do it. And it always comes down to the money. I think they need to be checked in case there's a chip, or, if we can get them out, let's get them adopted, let's get the service, let's get them out. and it's just my opinion, but at some point, there's certain things that need to be done.
Well, like myself, I can't go to a home and cite somebody for animal abuse. I
And
can't.
that's how come, Commissioner Nettleton brought up partnering. I would be just one of 5 up here, just an opinion.
Sure.
I would rather for the county to have the control, if we could partner with you. That way we have other tools and other resources available if needed right then. But I think we all have already started. You sit on that committee, on a committee with the city?
Yes,
Okay. So
but
this-
Ms. Carpenter doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not on.
Then why don't we call a meeting? I'll be in school all next week, but the following week, would that be all right with y'all? And we'll just sit down?
I just think a public-private partnership works better. I have concerns about us trying to manage this if we have a resource available to us. We had tried this years ago with, I think it was the Delray Friends of the Animals. We set aside 4 acres for them. We were going to give them the property. They were going to get a grant, build a facility, and then we were going to contract with them to manage animal control for us. And the whole thing fell apart because they weren't able to get their grant funding. But I think a public-private partnership to deal with this, because I think is a better way. It's going to take us, I know right now we have 1 employee, Sheriff,
Just one, 28,000.
28,000.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you before this is over with, we will have 5 or 6 or 7 employees.
I agree with you.
This will end up becoming 4 or 5 trucks. They will be running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It will end up costing the taxpayers of this county hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. If we can do this through a partnership with somebody who has additional funding that they can use, plus what we can put to the table, we might be able to accomplish the same task without breaking the bank doing it. Because I can tell you, when we started this, I voted against it when we started it, because if we're gonna do this, you gotta fund it right, or you're just wasting your time. And 1 truck and 1 guy is not going to accomplish this task.
Years ago, the county contracted with Dr. Herman Rathke. He handled it. It was very satisfactory. His personnel handled it.
But we don't have that.
My biggest problem with that, Judge, would be that somebody outside the county participating on helping with animal control would be limited with funds. And they would come to the court and would probably, ask for money for this and that. And so at the end of the day, I feel more comfortable if we manage that facility.
It's no different than what we do with the Battered Women's Shelter. We send out hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to a private company to manage something. It is the same concept. We are going to spend the money one way or the other.
Let's do this.
Which is one
Let's
little,
do this real quick, and then, if you don't mind. The item states status. The status is there's a facility. The walls are up, the roof's up. There's 10 stalls to house dogs. There's 2 stalls over to one side to quarantine. There's the facility needs to be finished out. There's a septic system, and we've already got a price on the septic system to be put in. There's money that here in a minute we'll act on it to see if there's money going to be set aside to finish it. So what you'd have is a facility. It's a start. It's not probably where we're going to end up, but it's got 10 stalls. You can wash out the stalls. You can move them from one side to the other side while you're washing the stalls. Again, it's not going to be the
Let me ask you a
full
question.
thing.
Yeah.
Is there state and federal requirements for an animal shelter?
Yes, there is. And if I may, we purchased the Rathke building in honor of him. Right now it's our storage facility, but we've been renovating it, and we've been going through and making sure that everything, is compliant with the city.
Just set aside the money and then make a decision.
But for me, I don't, as a rescue, we have been we don't want to house animals. We don't want to just bring them in and put them into cages and keep, from a rescue standpoint, I don't think for ARC or for our 501c3 and the funds that we're getting, I don't want to put it back into something if there is no structure, if there is no citations or law, or I've run into.
So I agree with
the
you.
city.
This county used to have a very good animal control order.
Right.
The one that we rescinded, the one we'll be rewriting, which allows citations and fines and register your dog. There's a whole list of things that are required. It was a very good order. It's just a matter of getting the order back in place getting
Right.
somebody to enforce the order so that you have a revenue stream. People would register their animals, they would tag their animal. There's a whole process.
We're gonna move on to item
Yeah.
16. We'll move on to item 16, and we'll try to take care of the funding to finish the facility. Then we'll set up a meeting with you and Anna, and we'll come to some conclusion and bring something back to the court as to how y'all would like to see it run, and then have the court make the decision.
And then,
But you're gonna have your own facility.
I guess in my mind, I mean, we already do. I don't mean that to sound disrespectful at all, but we already do have a facility that we can utilize.
And it complies with all of the
But we
requirements.
just don't, if we just open our doors and say, we're open, we got kennels, do you know how many
Yeah.
animals will be dumped at our front door? We're not about that. We're about keeping pets with owners and keeping them accountable and responsible for their property. So if we build this
I understand that, but
facility-
if we build it, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna put them in there 3 or 4 days. Nobody's gonna be able to find the owner. They're gonna euthanize the animal, and that's gonna be the end of it.
Just like they do with the city as
Yes.
well. As long
Which
as
I don't
they're-
think is the objective.
Correct. And that's why with the partnership, I think that would be wonderful. And if there was a facility, I'm just saying I want to make sure that there is a partnership. I don't want it to heavily rely on,
No, I'm
you know what
not.
I mean?
Again, I stated a little while ago, I think we should take the lead on it. Okay. But it'll be up to the court.
Sure.
So we can move on. I'm not trying to cut you off, but if we move on to item 16, at least we're moving forward.
Yep. And I'm
Thank you so
done.
much.
I just wanted to leave that up there. This is actually from someone that lives out in the county. That is a dead carcass that someone wrapped in a tarp and dumped right in front of their home. And this is what you're dealing with in
Yeah, I've
county
got
areas.
pictures on my phone of a pit bull that ate the head off of the.
Yeah. So we're dealing with something that,
The problem
I'm
is
glad we're
bigger,
moving forward.
and I think
Yeah.
you're better set up to deal with it. The problem is an educational issue. It is to be able to educate the people. You know, everybody wants a new puppy for Christmas, and then by about February, he got old, and he got big, and, you know, all those issues that go with it. It's an education issue, and we need somebody partnered with us to deal with the education and some of the other issues that go. We are not in the animal control business. That is not our background. I am not comfortable getting into something I have no knowledge of. I am comfortable partnering with people that have knowledge.
understood. Okay. Well, I look forward to moving forward on it and see.
Yes, sir.
I'll pick up those handouts at the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're gonna move on to item 16.
She's been,
Ma'am.
she's
First of all, I'm just losing track of everything I'm going to say. Back in 2005, the county formed a county animal control committee. And Ms. Garcia, were you on it? With Friends of Del Rio Animals? And
I don't know that we were on the committee, but we were involved.
Is that what you would like to see again, Councilman? Okay.
The other thing is that it will be helpful if we work with the city animal control advisory board, because those are the things we talked about. One of our prime objectives is education. And
So can you call a meeting for Monday, with that group, and
we'll meet the first Monday of every month.
is that soon enough? That'd be okay?
As long as it's an ongoing project.
Are
And then
you
we
already
work-
appointing on the committee? or-
Yes, sir. And then what we're asking of ARC to do, I understand the limitations, because as Ms. Carpenter said, they're not housing them. What they're doing is finding fosters for them, which is a lot better than housing them. And I also have a concern about our animal control order. I don't know if which the sheriff enforces. What do you enforce when we have strays? Under what statute?
A lot of times, when we get complaints on animals, we cite the owner for animals running at large. On this one, the one that's there, the city assisted us, we went through the statute, they're able to accomplish what we needed to accomplish on that right there. But a lot of times, a lot of these dogs, you know, they're in the streets, if they, you going off on somebody's door, so that dog's been strayed, just showed up here.
So when you enforce the dogs running at large, do you use the health and safety code, or do you cite the county ordinance?
I think it's the health and safety code.
Ms. Smith, would you set something up for us? Would you set a meeting up for us, either the first Monday of the month or before,
But to discuss what?
to figure out how we're gonna partner?
Okay,
Does that work?
yeah, the first Monday of the month.
Item 16, discussion possible action to amend budget to move $50,000 to a complete animal control facility.
Judge, as we know, about 2 years ago, this project came to a stop, complete stop, and I know it's very important. The stray animal situation has gotten worse than ever, and we need to set aside $50,000 and amend the budget and set aside $50,000 out of contingency on a new line item for this project.
Is that a motion?
Yes, sir, it is.
I have a motion, do I have a
I'll
second?
have a second for discussion.
Second, Commissioner Middleton.
We're going to, I thought we had some money already set aside in the sheriff's office for animal control.
The money set aside for animal control is for vet, feed, and then labor. There was no money set aside to finish it.
Are we gonna use all that money? How much do I have in there?
Judge, the way, both, Commissioner, the way we looked at this is that to finish this facility is not gonna take, but maybe a month, couple of months, but we're lacking. So that will give us time enough to hire somebody and get the project, the department going this year. That's why we didn't wanna touch that money, leave it there, get this money out of contingency, finish the building.
We had people from the city that were already certified that were willing to come to work.
Well, we only have one person we hired, right? We only have one position.
One position at 28,000.
And the position's been posted the whole time.
And we've had people that have applied for this. And I think what Commissioner Flores was getting at was, if we move the money over, then if we get done and we're able to open it before the end of the year, we're gonna have to move money back.
But this money's strictly for the completion of the,
Yes, only for that.
And we're sure this facility, once we're completed, will be in compliance with whatever laws and statutes and requirements. I know there's some rules when you build it now. It's not just 4 walls and a roof. There are some
There
requirements.
had to be wash stations, there had to be,
but that's also the health and safety code.
Yes, I just want to make sure we're building it to compliance, or otherwise we're going to have a facility we can't use it.
But Commissioner Flores knows all the rules and the regulations.
Oh,
so
my.
he's in charge.
We have a motion, we have a second. You're gonna stay with your second?
Yeah, I'll start with this.
Have a motion, have a second. All those in favor of moving $50,000 from contingency over to finish this?
Aye.
All right.
5-0 vote. There was a motion, Commissioner Flores, second by Commissioner Middleton, 5-0 vote. Thank you. We are going now to item 28. We're going to jump all over the place here. There was a hearing to be set. It's discussion possible action, but everything did go out and it was posted as a hearing. Did it with Ms. Smith, and she said item 28 would comply with the hearing. So here's.
Okay, the purpose of this hearing is for the public to comment for or against the request of the owner of Bright East Ranch Number 1, Lot 3, to replat recreating Lot 3A and 3B. Is here for or against it? Against?
Neil, is there, can you come up and explain how come, sir, please?
I apologize up front, but not the cost of making it a fit or something. But, I'm against it because it's basically everyone out there is 10.1 acres. So everyone's kind of spread out. You can kind of do your own thing. No one's up in your business. That's why I moved out there. I wanted to be able to just do my thing on my ranch. Ranch has to be small. And not have, worry about making too much noise to the neighbor or anything else like that. So if you start subdividing, then it just turns into every other neighborhood. And I don't want to do that. So I'm against it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And your name was, sir? I'm sorry.
Chris Vanderton.
You live across the street from them?
I
From
think
this-
I'm the adjoining lot.
Adjoining
I'm
one?
not really sure where 3 is, but
Do you have a map?
You have the map there?
If you can figure out where he's at.
You got it, Joe, okay.
It would be this lot right here, which is, this is Los Brisas, this is Holdup Pass. This is Los Brisas and Holdup Pass.
Where, you on Hold Up Pass, you on Las Brisas, Molino Weed?
I'm on Hold Up Pass.
Okay.
So here's Highway 90.
Right.
As you come down Holdup Pass, this is Los Brisas.
I'm right there.
You're across the river.
Yeah.
Okay.
First house on the right, yellow.
Okay.
Do you have anybody else?
Yes, there's one more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Patricia Grace. I am next door, I believe, from that area, and it's pretty much the same thing. We moved out there to be separated from everyone. If we wanted something closer, probably would have went right next door to, I think it's Lake Ridge, or where the lots are smaller. But, you know, we enjoy having our acreage, our goats, our donkeys, and, you know, not having a lot of really close neighbors to have to keep things down. It's just a lot.
What was your name
A lot
again? I'm
nicer.
sorry.
Patricia Grace.
Patricia.
Yeah. And yeah, it was the main reason we moved there, was the bigger lots and to be further away from neighbors and have our privacy. And I think if one is approved, we're going to start having more and more, and we are just going to wind up like every other place, having homes closer and closer together.
That'll work. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anybody else? That's it. You want to close there?
Hearing is closed.
There you go. All right. And we'll take action on this a little further down in the agenda.
Thank you.
Aaron, did you need to leave?
Yes.
Are you going to need to leave? Our treasurer is going to have to step out for a little bit, so we asked if we could go to item 36 and item 37.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Commissioners. Thank you.
Item 36, monthly treasurer's report.
This one does need action.
Does?
Yes.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. Item 37, discussion possible action regarding a resolution authorizing participation in Texas class and authorize the county judge and county treasurer to sign said resolution. This is what we had,
We did the last meeting.
No. What we did on the last one was renewing,
basically
amending the investment policy. What we're doing here now is allowing us to actually go out with tax class as well as taxable. We already have a taxable resolution. We just need one for tax class.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote.
Thank you, guys.
I need to sign this twice. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll sign this real quick and then we'll move on. Item number 6, discussion and possible action to ratify and include in the minutes the agreement for collection of taxes between SFDRCISD and Valverde County pursuant to 6.24 of the Texas Property Tax Code and is authorized pursuant to Valverde County Commissioners Court Order number 19-054 dated January 23rd, 2019. We're just trying to put this contract into the minutes. This is something we already had approval to go through.
The sum is 50,000 they're paying us? No,
It should be based on,
it's based on.
it's based on a percentage, it's 1%.
County sheriff's 1%. We're on it. We collect those,
We collect them,
you get to keep the money then, or you send it and then they have to send you a check, or how does it work?
1%, I really send it in. We subtract the 1%.
You're just keeping it on the phone.
and that question you'd asked like at the beginning in 2012 or whatever, yeah, it would need to be changed, so it was changed.
I mean, I know we did some things last year on tax collection to try to separate so the public could realize who they're paying what in taxes, and that seemed to have maybe not worked as well as I thought it would, but,
We can bring it back.
we can use it later.
I have a motion on this one to put it, make it part of it.
Motion to approve.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second by? Second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item number 7, discussion possible action on contract with Quad Counties to run the battered women's shelter. If we could bring this back after executive session, I appreciate it. Moving on to item 8, discussion possible action on purchase of 50 backflow preventers at a cost of $7,350.
Motion to approve, and get the money from contingency.
Where is this going?
Precinct,
Let's give me, I have a motion from Commissioner Flores, second by Commissioner Wardlaw. There's 27 of them for sure going to, that's going to be the state.
It's gonna be,
And then Commissioner Flores needed some, and it was cheaper to buy the 50 at a savings of $2,300 if we bought all 50.
The grant doesn't cover any of this? The grant does not cover this?
En Escondido.
we're gonna apply for a refund on it.
I didn't want to get up, but I'm going to go ahead before the wheel falls off.
Okay. We had a gentleman over here last week, give you a little background information, Richard Williams with RKW, and he went out to Escondido to test backflows. Those are just like a check valve. They're not really a
True backflow.
approved backflow. So we asked him, what those go for, and he said they're about $187 each. And I said, well, what would it cost if we bought, say, 50 of them? Because precinct 4, precinct 2, precinct 1, everybody needs some of them. If we could get them in bulk, so he called his provider, and he said the provider told him he could get them for $142 each. So that was the reason.
Is that installed?
To be on the agenda.
No, it's just
Now,
back.
the only place
PVV
that they could
or what
possibly
kind?
be, the grant could pick up some of the costs would be with the existing grant right now with 1 and 2, and also maybe for Ridgeline in the future, if we had some left over, we could get the grant to reimburse those. Yeah.
Couple of questions. Why are we taking it out of contingency and not out of the grant?
Well, because out there at precinct 4, the grant's already closed out.
So they weren't included in the original, or?
No, they were not.
But we have to come back and put them?
Yes. Yeah.
And they're 1-inch PVVs, what are they, what kind of backflows?
They're 1 inch, they're above ground, they're actually like a double, they call them an RPZ. RPZ. And it's what the city requires, it's kind of what's required out in the whole area.
The city's always required PVVs, when did they start requiring RPZs?
I guess.
Because there is a humongous price difference.
I know they're, from this point forward, they're in the.
Is it because they have existing wells?
They're spec'd out in the plans.
That was one of the concerns when we ran into Paisano, was they spec'd out these type, and one of the concerns was because they had existing wells, and therefore they didn't want to cross-contaminate over there.
Yeah. It's actually a state requirement.
So the grant's not gonna pay for any of them?
The grant can pay for some of them, yeah.
But, so the city came back later and said, you need to change these out or put these in, the ones we put in were not right?
Right, they gotta be RPZ.
Okay, and so that was designed by who?
Well, they're actually were never in the original design. So we're not actually
How
spec'd
did
out.
we
We put them in there as a precautionary measure, but the apparatus.
You put a double check.
It's a double check, it's not correct. These got to be
Yes.
above the ground. Got to be 12 inches from the surface of the ground. Yeah, to meet the code.
the others were in the ground.
Right.
That's a double check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a double check assembly or just a double check valve?
It's just
Double
a
check
valve.
assembly.
Well, but it's just, and we still have to go back and put it in.
Yeah.
We can't.
You gotta come off of the meter with it's a 3/4 inch meter, you gotta come off the meter with actually a 1 inch check valve or 1 inch RPZ is cheaper than a 3/4.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why, but it is.
There'll be some piping in there from the meter to the property line. They're gonna be inside the property owner's, property.
We take this out of contingency, then we're gonna reimburse ourselves back to contingency from the grants that it can be paid for out of.
If that's the course desire, yeah.
If it's possible.
If it's possible, on the timeline, so the time of the grant, something like that, by the time we use it.
probably within 6 months.
And we're gonna talk about other stuff that's going on in executive session about this.
Yeah, 'cause I got a whole list of questions.
We have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second by Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against?
Aye.
4-1, Commissioner Nettleton is the one against.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 9, discussion possible action on amending budget to include $32,000 to repair and bridges. We can table this one because I have some information to give you on the executive session also. So we'll bring this one back in after executive session. Discussion possible action to accept Judge Barrera's retirement letter. Judge, are we here? We are here. To the Honorable Judge Barrera, I learned of your intent to retire on March 22nd, 2019 from Human Resource Director Juanita Barrera. It is my genuine regret that I accept your resignation effective March 22nd, 2019. After all the years you have devoted to Valverde County, I wish you the best of luck in the new phase of your life. You will be missed. I'm gonna try not to cry. Judge, we've got a little plaque for you. If you'll come around, we'll present you with the little plaque after,
We're down here?
no, we'll present you with the plaque, but after Commissioner's Court, there'll be cake and tacos. You will all join us.
Thank you.
Gee, Robert.
Got a good lesson from scratch.
Like a weight lifted off the
Oh,
shoulder.
yeah.
Come up closer.
Closer, closer.
Can I look like each other?
Yeah, a little bit.
Kind of turn a little bit, tilt there.
Put your gut in.
Very nice. 1, 2, 3. Awesome, thank you.
Got it? Thank you. Thanks a lot. All right.
Yes, sir, thank you.
I want to say a couple of words. I want to thank you all very much, especially citizens of Del Rio, and trying my best to be here a little bit longer, but it's time for me to go. And most of all, I want to thank the voters of Valverde County for supporting me during all these election days. But I'll be around Del Rio anyway. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you.
Judge, thank you. Commissioner, another thing. Another thing.
Are we up here? Are we down there? Where are we at?
You'll just stand at the podium for a little bit. She's got a resolution we're gonna read so we can all sign.
Okay, all
All
right.
right?
Okay, this is a resolution honoring Valverde County Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, Jim Bob Barrera. Whereas on March 20th, 2019, the Valverde County Commissioners Court met in regular session, and whereas the Valverde County Commissioners Court is desirous to honor Valverde County Precinct 1 Justice of the Peace, Jim Bob Barrera, for his contribution to the county of Valverde. And whereas Judge Jim Bob Barrera is a native of Valverde County, born and raised in Del Rio, Texas, and whereas Jim Bob Barrera was elected Precinct 1 Constable and took office on January 1st, 1985, and held that office for 18 years, and whereas Jim Bob Barrera was appointed Precinct 1 Justice of the Peace on May 27, 2003, as successor to his father, the late Felix R. Barrera, and whereas Jim Bob Barrera has served the County of Valverde as Precinct 1 Justice of the Peace for nearly 16 years, and whereas Jim Bob Barrera has given his time and his energy to resolving questions of facts and issues of law, setting bonds for defendants in a manner that is constitutional and protects the public, issuing warrants to secure the detention of criminal suspects while discharging his other duties as Justice of the Peace and Magistrate. Now therefore be it resolved by the Val Verde County Commissioners Court, the members of this honorable body, both individually and collectively, do hereby extend their appreciation to Val Verde County Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, Jim Bob Barrera, for his service to his community. Section 2, the County Clerk of the Commissioners Court shall transmit a copy of this resolution to the Honorable Jim Bob Barrera. So, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Again, thank you all very much for your board support.
Thank you.
There's a type.
Okay, fix it, and then we'll get it back. Thank you, ma'am.
The judges giving you the
We're going to move on to item 12. We already took care of item 11. Discussion possible action on lease agreement between Val Verde County and the Del Rio Rotary Club for the use of Val Verde County Fairgrounds for an Independence Day rodeo.
I'd like to make that motion, Judge.
Second. Motion Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Number 13, discussion possible action on lease agreement between Val Verde County and NBM third annual cook-off for the use of the Val Verde County Fairgrounds on June 7th and 8th, 2019.
That's so moved, Judge.
Motion Commissioner Wardlaw. Second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Commissioner Nettleton, item 14, discussion possible action on resolution of support for House Bill 3099 relating to standards of surface water and groundwater management.
This bill was a bill, actually, it had asked Representative Nevadas to file. What it does is as we all know, the state of Texas controls surface water. They allocate it, they control it, but they don't set river flows, spring flows, which would be part of their requirement. This bill would have the Water Development Board come in and set those river flows and spring flows for the Devils River, the Pecos, and the San Felipe, so that they would flow at the standard that the state requires. And then at that point, when and if anybody ever decided to do anything further, you would have a base flow for what those rivers should be flowed at. So that's what this bill, it only applies to certain areas. It's basically Val Verde County. It says standards of surface water and groundwater management in certain areas. This section applies to a county bordering the Rio Grande, overlying the Edwards Trinity Aquifer, and with a population greater than 40,000. The Texas Water Development Board shall adopt standards for water management by a conservation and reclaiming district in a county to which this section applies. Standards adopted under this section must address groundwater management and river flows, spring flows, requirements for the Devils River, San Felipe, Devils River, Pecos River, and San Felipe Spring. And then there's a resolution attached to it that I drafted. If it's not, doesn't work, then we can do something else.
Commissioner, I have a question, if you don't mind. What are the state flow requirements? What are they talking about?
What the river should flow at.
I mean, how are they gonna manage that or specify?
They're gonna have to do science. I mean, the state currently right now controls all the surface water, but they've never set a flow for what that should be. They issue a permit for somebody to pull water out of the river, and like the city has 11,000 acre foot surface water allocation, the irrigation company has a surface water allocation.
Are we talking a level, the spring cannot flow under this certain level?
They would have to set that, what their standards would be for that river.
They actually have not only science, but they have history.
Yeah.
To be able to set that. They know how low it's been in the past, and they can come back and look and make sure, well, we don't want it to get to this level, therefore, you might have to put measures in to protect that from getting to that. So, I mean, and this goes back to the bill that was filed. This was mentioned in the bill, but there's no numbers. I think we put the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse, whichever one you want to say. If this would have been done first, then
the other parts would have been able, you'd be able to plug numbers into something that you would have. So I will make a motion to approve the resolution supporting House Bill 3099.
Have a motion? Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. And just for clarification, this one here, you have a resolution in support. This one is not a resolution in support of the bill that Poncho has already filed.
Yeah, and I will be going to Austin this week to find out. It got referred to House Natural Resource. If they're going to proceed, I will be putting an item on the agenda before they have a hearing on the one that he filed to discuss a groundwater district, which I will be voting against, but the court can vote however it wants. It is not something we asked for. It is not something we want at this particular time. This is the bill that will start the process of being able to figure out what those rivers and spring flows are through honest-to-God science by the state doing it.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? 5-0 vote.
In the resolution, do you want me to fix it before we get it to Jamie, or?
That would be great if you could.
Okay.
I did that kind of on the fly. I actually need it where I can take it, or if they can send it, email it to me once Jenny signs, everybody signs it.
We'll get it fixed today and then get it to Jamie.
And if you'll
I'll
give
give
it
it
to
to you.
Janie, and then we'll get it.
No, I'll give it to your office,
Yeah.
so you can
Yes, and then
distribute it.
Yulisa, they've actually worked out a system, Yulisa and Mr. Amon, in order to get everything back. Item 15, discussion of possible action regarding utilizing hotel occupancy tax funds for a Mexican League baseball game to be held.
I'm not sure why Roland put that in there.
And Dario hosted by Dario Little League.
They're here to kind of discuss. It's an opportunity for us to bring some things here. Roland was supposed to be here. Okay. Well, you can discuss it.
So,
The city's already done, set aside some hotel tax for this.
right, we got,
What they said.
1,500.
How much?
I'm sorry. 3,000.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was-
20,000, but the city set aside 30,000?
No.
No, that was my question, what did the city say?
We needed 6. 6 brings the team here and pays everything for them.
Okay, so they set aside 6?
No,
What
they set
did the
aside
city set
3.
aside?
3,000.
So, what do you want to give them? I want to give them more than the city, though.
In the conversations I've had,
2 is what we
2 was
needed.
about where we were at,
Yeah.
because they have some additional, the actual CBD, the hotel tax committee is actually gonna put some.
Are you going to need more funds for this in order to?
No. No, that's it.
And I gave you an
I know.
open door.
I know, but I'm honest.
Mhm.
I take what I need, that's it.
So 2.
2 is all we need.
I'll make a motion to set aside 2,000. This will be a great opportunity for us to,
Right.
and there's some potential long-term things that might happen because of this, where we could get
Correct.
some spring training camps here for these
And that's the-
guys. and
kind of the
other
draw.
things. So,
We're trying to put more heads in beds.
If you'd come to us, also, and
Okay.
we'd like to contribute.
Okay,
So
great.
we're not at the tail end
Right.
just trying to make it.
Oh, yeah,
happen.
no,
We'll
this
get
was,
money.
this was brought to us probably 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it was like slammed on us, and we're like, so we put up earnest money, and then kind of, it's coming back to us.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a great
I have a
day.
motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. And it is for 2,000.
2,000.
All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. Item 16, we've already done. Item 17, discussion possible action authorizing approval of donation of 5 trailer loads of sugar sand from Commissioner Gustavo Flores.
I'd like to make that motion, Judge, and the fairgrounds. Fairgrounds appreciate.
Let me finish.
You know,
For the use at the Maury County Fairgrounds.
We greatly appreciate it. That's a big
So you're
donation.
making the motion?
I make.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Do you want to abstain or you want to vote?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. 4-0 vote. Commissioner Flores abstains. Item 18, discussion possible action to approve the DWI Drug Specialty Court Programs purchase of the Data Games DIMS Drug Court Information Management System using the DWI Program Fund Expenses Account. The cost proposal is $1,800 yearly fee. Questions?
Being ported out of what?
Good morning.
Good
morning.
Yes, sir. So the case management system, it's created for drug courts. What I did like about this is that it tracks all the data that we need, data that will be used for grant purposes, statistics that could be presented here in Commissioner's Court, example, participants that were monitoring, the amount of drug tests that are being collected, all the, stuff that we do. The yearly fee of $1,800 does cover unlimited users, so we don't have to pay for extra licenses for people to use it.
If you don't mind, can you state your name? That way we'll...
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Ismael Diaz. I'm the Special Support Coordinator for the Drug Court here in Valverde County.
And the question is asked, where's the money?
Oh, so the money would be coming out from the expense account that we've been, from the funds that we've been generating from people paying into the program. And
You
so,
okay?
Motion to approve.
Did a good job.
Thanks, sir.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Item 19, discussion possible action on obtaining approval to purchase computer monitors and adapters converter for the Valverde County Court at Law courtroom. See item 23.
Judge, good morning.
Exactly,
Court, good morning.
Where'd you come from?
I just,
He was hiding back here. He wanted to get approved, so he sent somebody else up.
Well, let me step down.
Now send him back up. It's probably true.
Respectfully, thank you for this opportunity. These monitors are,
Can you start with,
my name is Judge Sergio Gonzalez.
can you say to Judge Owens, with all due respect?
No.
These are old VGA monitors that have been in the courtroom for a very long time, at least 12, 13 years, and we moved beyond VGA. Now we're beyond even HDMI, and now we're even going to the latest version, and we need it in the courtroom. These are relatively inexpensive monitors compared to what they used to cost before. Rand gave me the proposal. And this is going to coincide with equipment that we have in the courtroom with BIS.
Judge, in the money?
I'm asking, I talked to Mr. Weingart, and he asked me to ask from the county and district court tech fund for that.
Where's money now?
$1,600. Covered. This is just one invoice, right?
Yes.
I have two in my packet.
No, just one. We had it updated last week.
Okay.
And the money will cover it?
I think, in fact, I even think it's a little less than that.
Yeah.
1287.80.
It's about 1,300. So it's you've got the latest.
1287, whatever it is. Any motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve,
The funds.
the funds out of the tech fund. That's the county and district court tech fund. He doesn't have county court law doesn't have an independent tech fund?
No, sir.
It's all combined.
It's all combined. Okay.
Whatever monies I had, we moved over to the title system.
We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Did a good job, Judge.
Thank you, sir. With all due respect, thank you.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Thank you so much. God bless. Thank
All
you.
due respect, me, no, I'm not.
It's very polite.
He was very polite.
Very professional.
So he waited till after, right?
Hey.
Item number 20, discussion possible action for approval of transfer and use of funds from the technology account to the technology office supply account. Number 166-1207-3-16000 to purchase Adobe Pro 2017 license for one user in the amount for purchase of $373.32. Judge Foss?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Antonio Paz III, Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2. And all I'm asking is just to transfer funds from one account to another to be able to purchase this Adobe license.
Why would it not be just purchased out of the account already that it exists in?
What happened is, I think, they have
Technology account.
subcategories in the account, and we don't have monies in that particular subcategory, so we need to transfer into that subcategory, is that correct?
No, I understand, but what I'm saying here is the technology account, this is a technology. Why would we transfer it to the technology office supply account and buy it out of there when you, yeah, but why couldn't you just buy it out of the original technology account?
I guess we can if you approve that. I thought we had to move monies in it.
But if you move monies, Judge Ross, are you amending some sort of budget?
I'm just
there?
doing a budget transfer for one account to
What do you
another.
got?
Because we got
It's
subcategories.
fine, I thought we talked about this week ago.
Well, we did, but then, it was my understanding that we needed not to do this.
So we're good? We don't need any action?
Meeting action, you're fine.
Oh, you're awesome.
Technology account is
You
fine.
took care of it.
Oh, okay. I
You did a good
just
job,
wanna make sure
too,
that,
Judge.
that we're doing the right thing. That's what I'm looking for.
Judge, all the judges are batting 1,000. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you so much.
Item 21, discussion possible action to authorize the replacement of election poll book equipment and authorize the judge to sign quote approval. Mr. Ramon? Please. Go ahead.
Judge, Commissioners, we've addressed this question before. The current poll books that we use for elections have an end of life as of February 1st. They actually expired on December 31st, 2018. We cannot use them officially for any other elections. I provided you with a quote of the replacement for the poll books. The total is $33,625 with the second year. They put it both on there so you'd have an idea of what the total cost would be, but the cost on the second year is not due till next year. So we're only doing the $33,625.
Okay.
Now,
33,625.
yes,
Right. Okay.
yes.
That's to
Yes,
buy
we only
them,
talk about thousands around here.
and then beginning the second year is,
We only pay the $41.25, which is the maintenance on it.
The 4,100.
$4,125,
but
yes.
on the last page it says 22,125.
I think they're putting that together with, oh,
Oh, on the top?
yes,
Yeah.
on the top of the next one. Total hard price. I'll clarify that, but my understanding is we're only doing the $33,625.
Yeah, because they added in, it's the 22 plus the additional products.
Yes.
The Apple iPad and then the.
Yes,
whatever.
something
And then
else.
it comes into the 33.
Right.
We have this money, where?
Well, it's gonna have to come from elections, unless, I have no idea, that's a math question.
That's where I was directing the question.
No, I do have, and I don't know if the court wants to see that, I do have a letter from Hart telling us that we are to remove their equipment and their license and everything. We
Balance
can't
on the election?
use it
Covered, the 33?
at all. So,
Until we buy new stuff.
until we buy new ones, yes. But the new equipment is all new. We're not upgrading what we already have.
No.
This is just totally new. This will help once we get in line to do the countywide voting, because they'll communicate. They do have the Apple whatever they use to communicate between the polling locations.
Where we, someone, 1 minute.
Okay, you asked for 60,000 out of capital outlay. During the budget cycle. Is this what the 60,000 was?
Part of that.
I don't remember. The 50,000, when did I ask for that?
During the budget cycle.
During the budget cycle? Because there's, on the line item that you have under my office, it doesn't show anything on it.
Correct, it does not.
Well, because those were the expenses that covered from the,
Correct.
but for this year, if there's 60,000, we can take it from there, because we only have one election to do
Okay,
this.
but there might not be 60,000.
No, there's not.
Can we
Because-
take
wait
the
a minute.
money, those 33, from that capital outlay account?
when you asked for the 60,000 for, capital expenditures, is this what we were talking about, or is there a different 60,000?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
It's already
Thinking
spent.
I'm not, unless you're gonna give me 60,000, I'll figure out. what to do.
don't.
No.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Matt, you're doing a good job.
Just learn when to stop.
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure to Hart for the 33,625 out of that
Capital outlay.
outlay.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second. Second, Commissioner Flores. Matt fixing to give away $60,000. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thank you. I do have one good thing to tell you about this.
Just one?
Just one.
Again?
The previous poll books were purchased with a grant that I got from the Secretary of State. Therefore, we were not able to charge any of the other entities whenever they use them. These are being purchased by Val Verde County, so part of the cost, when I figure out how much it costs to run their election, will be coming from this, because you are purchasing it. It's not through a grant.
So we'll be able to make some of this money back.
Yes.
Okay. That's awesome.
Which pays back to general fund.
Well, wherever he's taking it from.
Did you hear that? It goes back.
Item 22, discussion possible action regarding update to Family Violence Center. Getting close to.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, how's it going?
My name's Roy Muskie Jr., I'm the purchasing agent.
Turn off the speakers, I got a comment.
I'm happy to say that the fencing contractor has gotten started. They're working on the back end of the fence, which is the chain link. And then they'll, as soon as the parking lot is done, and parking lot has also been started, Commissioner from Precinct 2, Vasquez, is providing the labor and the expertise and the surveying and the leveling and all that good stuff. And Precinct 1, Commissioner Warlaws is providing the material, base material. So that's moving along. As soon as that's done, then we'll start working on privacy fence on the front end. Meanwhile, they're cleaning up the inside, getting small stuff taken care of. They're getting ready to give me an estimate on the paint equipment that they're gonna need.
For the outside?
For the outside, right, correct. And it's moving along. There's a couple of things that are gonna be coming up, and I'll get with the IT director, and we'll talk about the phones and the the cameras and everything else that we need for the offices. And we'll have to schedule a move and see what else is missing after that. Furniture.
Have we run these units just to see, just like leave them on to see?
The AC?
We're gonna have any problems?
Yes, they were working for several days.
The gas, we get
It's
gas.
full, it's installed, ready to go. We don't have any appliances,
But like the hot water
The
heater?
hot water heater's doing fine.
It's doing
Doing fine. It worked just
They
perfect.
took a shower in it yesterday.
Is there a security system?
Not yet.
It is?
Not
Will
yet.
there be a security?
That'll be part of the IT, program. Well,
Inside and out?
yes, sir.
So we don't need any action?
No action, it's just a report.
Okay. Anybody have any more questions on this? Okay, we're gonna move on to item 23, discussion possible action regarding the selection of grant writing, grant administrative services for proposed Texas CDBG 2019-2020 Colonial Construction Funding, Texas CDBG Fast Funding, Fire Truck Ambulance, in parentheses, Fire Truck Ambulance and Service Trucks, Texas CDBG Disaster Relief Funding and/or FEMA funding due to the September-October 2018 extreme weather event.
Motion to approve.
There was only one submission, and that was, Esser and Company LLC.
That's your motion?
Yes.
Okay. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Seconded by? Seconded by Commissioner Vasquez. Any discussions? All those in favor? 5-0 vote. You got to read today, man, right?
He's gonna take this thing over.
Yeah, he is. Item 24, discussion possible action regarding a request from the County Court at Law Office to purchase monitors and accessories from county and district court tech fund. But we already took care of that.
And we just took care of that, yes.
No action needed. Item 25, discussion and possible action regarding a request from Precinct 4 to purchase a steel Cut Quick cutoff machine from tax note 2016. You got a motion?
And because it was out of tax note, it's required to bring it before court for the.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton. Any discussions? All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 26, discussion possible action on approving requests made by Cybersecurity Committee to increase the amount of characters to our current complex password policy from 8 characters to 14 characters. We met, everybody thought it was necessary just for security reasons.
Motion to approve.
You want to do the second?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. Any other discussion?
Just for information purposes, this is an item that needs to come before the court.
Okay. That'll work. But we're gonna take a vote on this one and then we won't bring it back. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Joanne, discussion possible actions to
We're not doing that one, right?
replat. Done deal?
No, they have to fix it.
Yeah, they were missing signatures or something, right? Okay. Item 28.
We already did that.
Yeah. Item 20, well, so did people leave? They did. Item 29, discussion possible action regarding accepting a donation of $9,900 from Friends of Valverde County Library to support the summer reading program.
Move.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Mr. Bagley?
You did a great job.
Good job.
I didn't see her up there. I'm sorry. I was reading it. I got caught up. Sorry about that. Discussion of possible action for approval to reapply for the BPU Border Prosecution Unit grant for 2019-2020. The proposed application is for the current budget amount for $187,000.
So moved.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote.
Appreciate it.
Great job.
And Mr. Garcia will be coming to you for approval. I got your email.
Before the 28th.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Discussion and possible action regarding transferring $1,333.50 from District Attorney's Office supply line item to capital outlay for the purchase of a desk.
Move.
I have a motion, Commissioner.
Gentlemen, that's not just the desk, it's actually 3 items, but we put them all together. The desk itself was over $500, but we put them all together, so don't think it's a $1,000 desk. I don't even have that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Nettleton.
You're about to talk yourself out.
Need a second by Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Great job, Mr. Bagley. Got them both approved.
With all due respect.
Yeah, everybody liking that one.
Ouch. Right?
Yes, sir. Item 33, we already did 32, moving to item 33, discussion possible action authorizing Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez to sign an MOU with the United States Marshal Service. MOU.
Move.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. It is door.
We have a deputy that assists the U.S. Marshal Service in serving warrants. Aside from his normal duty hours, either before he goes to work or after he goes to work. But the only thing that we're having to find out is if they're going to cover the fringe on this. The fringe amounts to about $5.76 an hour, more or less. When he does go out currently to assist them, it goes on the books as comp time.
They pay it?
Sir?
They pay it? They reimburse it?
They reimburse us, yes.
Yes. Except that we're trying to get an answer on the fringe.
Why does it go as comp time? Why didn't he just pay?
We don't pay overtime. Right now, we have nothing in agreement to go and assist the marshals, but they need him because we're serving local warrants, so it goes on the books as comp time, or either he has to take off.
It just seemed like there would be a simpler way, but.
Just paying this overtime to go on.
Yep.
They're reimbursing us. It's not like it's costing us any money.
No, it is. It is, but it's costing us less than if they didn't pay anything.
Why is it costing us?
It's costing us 20%.
But we don't know that.
But we don't, they're working on that, right?
We're trying to work that out.
I thought that was covered in the, did they send an email clarifying what
I didn't get that email.
Dora sent it to me?
Okay, and it is covered?
That's the clarification, yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Make the motion.
We had a motion by Commissioner Nettleton, had a second by Commissioner Flores.
I would just be more inclined if we just, for these things, we just pay them and then you don't have this huge comp time issue that you have.
Yes.
And I sent you the final, did you get the
That's
final
where we get
MOU?
these comp time problems.
I sent it to Dora.
I have a motion, we have a second, and we've already had discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 34, discussion possible action authorizing Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez to apply and accept the Office of Justice Program's Bulletproof Vest Partnership for 2019 grant to include the adopting a resolution. This grant offers up to 50% reimbursement for the purchasing of bullet-resistant body armor.
Move.
Second.
We have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second by Commissioner Nettleton. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 35, discussion possible action on the use of unexpended Yeah, we knew that one was coming. I'm not gonna read it. Item 35, discussion possible action on the use of unexpended salaries within the Communications Operations Division.
Yes, sir, I had to make some administrative moves in that division to, basically be able to, comply with some of the state requirements, so I had to change personnel around. So, there's a total of 26,000 of unexpended salary funds, of which the difference between the two positions is about $8,000.
And basically, you
What are you
moved
asking?
for the $8,000.
To do what with? You're asking for 8,000 more.
Juanita.
What he
Juanita.
He moved one person over,
Judge
and
Juanita.
he took a cut in pay. But in order to move the other person up to the base pay, there was an $8,000 difference between the person he's moving up, what she was getting paid now, to the base pay. And so they're not moving, they're not adjusting the base pay, it's just that position, in order to get him there, is an $8,000 difference. And the person that they moved over to one side, basically, is still doing some of the duties, and they took a 5%.
5% cut.
Pay cut.
Matt, are you okay with that?
It's not my, it's not my.
I mean, the money's there, I mean, they can be used for that.
There is money in salary savings to do this, yes. Otherwise, it would be increasing the salaries by 8,000.
I make a motion to approve that, to have those changes done for the communication department, sheriff department.
Have a motion, Commissioner Flores.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. We've already done item 36 and item 37.
Judge,
Moving on to
can we
item
go to number
38.
33? I just got an updated email, question under reimbursement. This guidance provided to the districts for, it says anyway, bottom line, shall not include any cost for benefits such as retirement, federal insurance contributions, act taxes, and other expenses. So they don't pay the fringe.
And we tell them that they can find their own people?
No.
It's part of a task force.
What do you mean, no? We're providing the U.S. Marshal Service an employee, and they don't want to pay the whole cost of that employee?
But right now, before this agreement, we're taking the whole load, right now.
But what's important about this particular employee is this is a fugitive task force, and so they're targeting dangerous criminals out there.
Yes.
So we're doing the work before anyway. Now that we're gonna continue to do the work, they're actually gonna pay for some of it.
Yes.
Exactly.
So either way, we're doing the work. Now we're just getting money for it. So that one stands.
And we're doing a better job because we're getting the support of the U.S. Marshal Service.
Yes. All right, we're gonna move on to item 38. Discussion and possible action, did a good job, Sheriff. Discussion and possible action on awarding one of the submitted RFPs for the pay study and classification plan.
Are we good? Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. We received 3 RFPs for the pay study. PayPoint HR LLC gave us a quote of $37,500. Profit Gold Consulting Group gave us a quote of $346,000. And Condrey and Associates, their quote was $44,500. At this
How did
point,
we get from 30 to 300?
it just depends. Reading the proposals, I know that Condrey and PayPoint have worked with counties in the past. The one agency, Profit Gold, deals more with corporate type companies, and I'm assuming that's where their proposal is coming from. There was nothing in
The most expensive one, though, has not done anything.
within counties.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
So this group is going to accomplish what?
Condrey and Associates has offered, they have done TML, who is currently the insurance and risk representative for the city. They have several counties. They will do different phases. Condrey and Associates will do, it's a 7-phase process. They'll come down, present to the county preliminary, and then make presentations as they go through the process. The same would come from PayPoint. They have also done work with other counties. They will provide the county with the preliminary. They'll visit with employees. They'll visit with department heads, elected officials. As far as how the positions are structured, they'll develop, both agencies will develop job descriptions. They will be approved beforehand, any decisions that are being made. They will provide a pay structure that the county will be comfortable in adopting and implementing.
They will provide a pay structure, but we might not be comfortable.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, that's a pretty bold
You know,
statement.
Looking at the track record we've had lately and with all our positions, there is a lot of positions that are not classified correctly.
One question.
Yes, sir.
The work that you've done, and what we've been looking at for the last 3 weeks, is that going to be the same thing? We're gonna go out and spend $35,000?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, if y'all would, the court wouldn't mind if y'all would allow us to work on it for a couple of weeks, present it to you in a week, and that way you'll have time to review it. We can bring this item back, and if it's not satisfactory what we've done or what she's done, then we go out and spend the $35,000.
I agree. I mean, they're gonna come back with the same thing that this court has voted down every single time.
Yes, sir.
I mean, just what you're working on is the same thing that we have had before this court at every single budget.
And I have prepared the last 4 years several options that the court could go with. We just don't adopt it.
The thing with, we're gonna have to realize is that we picked positions all the way through it.
Yes.
And we classified some of these positions together the way it should be, based on the information that you had presented and then calling other counties. The court's gonna have a hard decision to make because it's about a 7.5% minimum increase to our budget.
Oh, it's always been. It's gonna be expensive on the front end.
So, I mean, we can.
But it only works if you fix it, and then you don't continue to allow people to play with it and do what we've been doing in the past.
And we can get you some numbers. I mean, Juanita's already done 99.9% of the work. We can put some numbers together and finish it up, bring it back to the court. Well, in a couple of weeks, we can bring it back, and y'all will have a proposal as to where everybody's at. If y'all would be okay with that.
Judge,
spending $35,000 a day.
Concerning this pay scale studies, and is this going to also convert everybody into a 40-hour week?
When you do the 40-hour week, the court will have to look at it, because if you're going to compensate, that's another, what, 2.5%? Is that right? 3%? What does that figure out to? 6%?
Yes.
So when you do the 6 and then you do the rest, well, the court would have to decide. I mean, it's just,
The court would have to decide, but.
And we can put the numbers together where the court can look at both sides. I mean, this is, if we do the 40 hours, you can do this or you can't. This is, at least we classify a lot of the positions, and y'all did it the other day with the administrative assistant or whatever, you classified some of them. And I think we're still missing a couple of them that need to be in that classification. We have a deal with chief deputies also. That's one of the ones that I pulled. We have base salaries from, 22,000 or 23,000 all the way to 33,000, but they're doing the same thing. So, I mean, those are gonna have to be adjusted. And when you took just chief deputies and you put them all more or less, took the ones that were chief deputies, take the ones that should be chief deputies, and you put them all in, that right there was about a 9% increase over all their salaries.
And I believe that overall, if we set up our employees correctly in a pay classification, it will give the court the authority to say, now you're going to work 40 hours because you are being compensated for your position.
No, I agree with you. It's a great system. I mean, we've looked at it numerous times, but it only works if the court understands that there's going to be positions that max out.
And that's the other thing.
They're not going any further, no matter what heck happens. That they're, I mean, you can't have people just because they stay here 30 or 40 years that they're going to be,
There was a range, when we looked at that also, there was a range between the base salary and where they maxed out, and it ranged anywhere from 50% of the base salary, and that's where you'd max out added to that, or there were some of them that were as high as 70%. But we have several people in the county, so whether you pick the 50 or pick the 70, are maxed out.
No, there are, and they have to understand that unless it's a cost of living raise, or we enact some sort of longevity system.
And that's what we talked about, was maybe a longevity versus a cost of living, because you're still going up. I think right now it's 1.5 is what you said.
Yes, sir.
Judge,
if we can bring this, yes,
what
ma'am.
do we classify the raises we give employees as now? They're not cost of living?
They're just a raise.
Okay.
In the real world, you would have a cost of living increase, and then you would have merit money increase, and then you would have longevity increase.
We've never had merit.
Yes.
On this one here,
a motion to table.
Okay, we'll bring it back. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second by? Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? 5-0. You can't give that. No. He winked at you. He's not laughing. Item 39. Discussion of possible action on adding class code 88100 election personnel to workers' compensation coverage. The cost would be $76.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. Item number 40, discussion possible action to approve changes to section 2.17, travel of the personnel policy manual. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, seconded by?
I'll second it for discussion. What are the changes here?
Second, Commissioner Flores.
We're changing the rate of hotels in Austin during the legislative session.
275 to 380.
Alrighty.
So you're gonna vote for them?
We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second by Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 41, HR monthly report from March 6, 2019 through March 19, 2019.
You all in compliance?
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0 vote. Item 42, monthly county auditor's report.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Commissioners. How you doing?
Any questions on the budget summary or the expense report that was submitted?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote.
Judge, is this the same thing as approving bills?
No, later on.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this is later on. Okay.
Is that it? Okay.
That's it.
All right.
That's it. I just handed a note. We're going to go back to citizens' comments, because I don't know where else to put them. Mr. Pettis.
Failed to put him on.
Mr. Pettis?
Yes.
Can you come up and get a status on the fairgrounds and building maintenance?
Sure.
That's fine.
Yes, sir.
Morning, Commissioner, Judge.
How's it going?
Fairgrounds Manager. So far we've pinpointed some people that haven't paid since 2018. There are other people that have not provided their cognitive test since 2016. Currently, we're working with the stands for the George Paul Memorial. We've been going around and doing some assessments for some of the people that are already in stalls. There's a lot of work that's got to get done out there. A lot of machinery that's got to get out. Of course, we can't do that right now because we're trying to get the rodeo stuff going on and get it ready for the day. But that's one of the things we're going to attack as soon as the rodeo's over. Start cleaning up and start fixing the stalls and stuff like that. So.
Moving out old equipment, I mean, stuff that's been sitting there for quite some time.
From what I've heard, it's been there for years, forever. It's got about an inch worth of dust on there, so it's been there quite a while. I've already spoke to Roger. We're going to get rid of it, most of the stuff to the Roy, I'm sorry.
Hey, Roger, too.
Yeah. Get rid of it at King Salvage, and from there I don't know where the money goes to. I guess
you have an account.
Okay.
And you'll be working on a list of equipment you're gonna need to be able to function correctly?
Yeah, I've got some of those, but from what I've heard, these guys have had all kinds of tools given to them, but there's nothing there. I mean, just yesterday they told me they don't have any drills, no saws, no circular saws, they don't have anything.
So you're gonna come up with a system that we can actually account for all that stuff?
I am, yes. Actually, I have Miss Cynthia, I have an Excel spreadsheet of all the stuff that we're gonna buy new. I'm also gonna, trying to come up with a way where we can sign these things out. I mean, it kind of almost seems like we gotta babysit these guys, but, I mean, we don't want to do that, but...
The trucks, all the trucks had saws, all the trucks had saws, all the trucks had generators, air compressor and everything. There was like 3 service trucks, all those.
There's no...
Had being the keyword. Had being the keyword.
Yeah. Also, yesterday, working with these guys and their comments and stuff, I've heard that it's been 2 years since they've gotten oil changes on these vehicles. Yeah.
Okay, but you're gonna fix all this.
I'm gonna
You're
fix
it.
all this.
You're the guy. As long as you know that, you're it.
Yeah.
The Coggins, if you need help, Cynthia has a guy in Uvalde.
Okay.
That he can come down. She ought to have the card. And he helped us in 2011 when we first started. He helped us get that started.
Okay.
And he actually came down and he's really helpful.
Good deal.
Judge,
Okay.
what are we gonna do about the ones that don't have certificates, if they've gotten the Coggins?
What used to happen in the past, if we couldn't get them to go get tested for Coggins, we asked them to leave. Bottom line is, you gotta leave. And anything, when we went through that scare, when I was in Houston or Corpus and you went down and took care of it, when we actually had a horse come back with a negative test, it was one of those deals that you have to remove it. And
That's my
the thing is,
concern.
it's 200 feet, yeah. No, you have to get them out. I mean, there's no, I'm gonna wait. It's
Yeah,
not
no,
possible.
and what we've been doing now, we've been sending notices out to everybody that's late.
In 14 days, what we did is, we were given in 2011, March 2011, we were given a time period, and they'd actually given us 2 months. And with his help, we actually got it done within 14 days, because they take the blood sample, they do all that, and within 14 days, you should have results.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the guy actually comes and does the Coggins tests.
And he can get you some help.
There'll be a fairgrounds committee meeting this afternoon, and this all needs to come up, and the ones that owe money, they need to receive letters. And,
We tried, when there was people there that owed money, tried to set them up on some type of payment, or not But the thing is though, it's like you said, you try to get them before they get behind.
Mhm.
And it's one of those deals that you really don't want to, go out and seize the horse because you end up with a $10 horse and they owe you $300. It's better if they just leave. Oh, well, is that it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Item 43, executive session. Honor Markowski Smith, County Attorney, requesting executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, parentheses 1, consultation regarding contemplated litigation and possible action in open session thereafter. Item 44, Honor Markowski Smith, County Attorney, requesting executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, parentheses 2, consultation which is governed by the attorney-client privilege and possible action in open session thereafter. Item 45, Honor Markowski Smith, County Attorney, requesting executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.072, consultation to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, and value of real property. If deliberation is an open meeting, would have a detrimental effect. I'm going to change the wording. Detrimental effect on the position of the governmental body in negotiations with a third person.
Jeez, let's see if you read it.
I offered to change it, but you still haven't said do it.
Ms. Smith, could you change the wording on that?
Sure.
One? Could be shorter. We'll now go into executive session. It is 20 till 11.
And Judge, we can make it just one item, so. You're on, sir.
Okay, this meeting will now come to order. It's 11:25. We're gonna go back to item 7. Discussion possible action on contract with Quad Counties to run battered women's shelter.
I'll make a motion to authorize the judge to negotiate a month-to-month contract.
I have a motion of Commissioner Nettleton, second by Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? 4-0 vote. Commissioner Flores just stepped out. Item number 9, discussion and possible action on amending budget to include $32,000 to repair bridges in precinct 1 and 4.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Wardlaw, second by? Second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those against?
Aye.
3-1 vote. Commissioner Nettleton voting against. Commissioner Flores has not come back into the room yet. He's left the building. Item 46, I'm sorry. Approved subdivision plats.
Got 2. One is the Bright East Ranch plat that we had the public hearing for this morning.
That 2 people were against.
Yes, sir.
You have everything in order, or we're still waiting on the letter of credit?
Right, but I have a letter from the
You've already received the letter?
No, but we have something stating that they're going to have it by the end of the week.
I will make a motion to approve the Brightview as presented, contingent on the receipt of the actual letter of credit from the bank.
I have a motion of Commissioner Nettleton. Need a second, or do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. Any other discussion? And this is on the Bright
East.
Okay. Bright East Ranch.
Right side of town.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. You have another one?
Yes, this is going to be the final plat for Lake Ridge Phase 7. We have everything.
Bond, everything's in there,
Yes,
right? So it's a done deal.
I'll make a motion to approve the plat, authorize the judge to sign the construction agreement.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Flores. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0 vote. Item 47, approved certificates of compliance.
None.
Item 48, approved monthly reports from elected officials.
So moved.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Flores. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. Approved bills for payment.
Moved.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, seconded by,
I'll second it for discussion.
all right.
Well, not discussion, but, Matt,
Yes, sir.
do they all
Yes.
comply with all the bills?
Yes, they do.
All right, thank you.
Do you have anything to add? We're okay? We're good?
We were doing
Okay.
well.
We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second for discussion and a second.
Judge, we had talked about including the bills in the minutes.
What am I talking about?
What are we
talking about?
That Janie doesn't get the bills for the
No.
minutes.
So we'll get it. Not a problem. Mr. Ramon,
Yes, sir.
what he said there.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 vote. Commissioners' comments? There is none. The county judge's comments? What did I do? Okay, let's give it a second. Thank you, ma'am. County judge's comments, we're having cake and tacos. There, Commissioner, between Commissioner's Court and County Judge's Office. If y'all want to join us, please. Commissioner Barrera's we'll get together. All right? Motion to adjourn. It's 11:30.